Kabita. She started working in the lab with me last fall. Basically wanted to shadow and learn about research we were doing in toxicology, so we basically did that. And she got interested in developing her own project, looking at what was the developmental toxicity, in this case, microbeads, and we were able to purchase some and get some preliminary experiments in. Just to put a shameless plug in, tomorrow, a co-author for tomorrow's Kayla Way is presenting work that they did together last fall and actually continued this past fall trying to write a paper for her. So she's been kind of doing double work here a lot of the time. So, Kabita, you tell them kind of where we're at?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, I am Kabita Kunwar. I am an international student from Nepal and I am here majoring at cell and molecular biology. So today I am here to give a short presentation on preliminary evaluation of the developmental effects of microbeads using frog embryo teratogenesis assay PTACs on Xenopus frog. So what are microbeads? Microbeads are the tiny pieces of polyethylene plastics, and they are used as an exfoliating and clean polishing agents, and they are mostly used in health and beauty products such as toothpaste, detergent, body wash, face wash, sunscreen, lotion. So they are usually in a large proportion, like we use it every day. And so microbeads are really small and they are insoluble in water. So these properties make them unable to filter through wastewater plants. So that way they go directly to the oceans and streams, so which will affect the aquatic life. And it was also reported that one shower, like one human shower, can produce around 100,000 microbeads, and it will go directly to the ocean. And it was by British Member of Parliament. It was reported by British Member of Parliament. So why do we use Xenopus for this experiment? The reason we chose Xenopus was they are easy to maintain, and that means they can live without food for long period of time, and their eggs are easy to assort, and their data are acceptable also, and extensive literature on it makes it highly connectivity. So the hypothesis for our experiment was if the microbeads in water will alter the early developmental of aquatic organisms such as frogs, and the objective was to determine if microplastic beads cause alter development of toxicity to frog embryos. So we use different types of material for this experiment. The measure was fertilized frog embryos. We use a Xenopus frog for this experiment. So this is the frog. So this is the frog, the Xenopus frog which we use for our experiment. And we use around 220 fertilized eggs. We showed those eggs from all the mixed fertilized and unfertilized eggs. And four dishes of controls were used of 20 ml of PTAC solution without any concentration of microbead solution. And the microbead solution was prepared by mixing a small fraction of microbead solution with 20 ml of PTAC solution. So we used 20 embryos in a plastic petri dishes in our first experiment. But the first experiment was just preliminary, and we ran second experiment with 8 embryos each on the plastic petri dishes, and in which 4 was of control and 4 was our experimental microbead solution. So the experiment was run for 4 days, and the dead embryos were removed after every 24 hours, and the test solution was renewed. So we measured the modality, malformation, and length of the embryos at the end of 4 days. So this is the table of the summary. So the modality rate was recorded to be 15%, and so the modality malformation and mean growth. So these are the values just for the controls. So we found 15% of the modality in our control and 5.9 for the malformation. And the mean growth of the controls embryos were found to be 0.99-fold. So this is the LC50, EC50 and PI value for the microbead solution, the embryos of the microbead solution. And these are the values for LC50, EC50 and PI. And this is our overall chart for the experiment. The embryo length was found to be higher in lower concentration of microbeads, and the mortality rate was found to be higher in higher concentration, and malformation was found higher in the lower concentration of microbead solution. And these are some malformation images of the tadpole, and mostly the malformation was found in gut, edema, and some of the malformation was very severe in the tadpole. So from this experiment, we came to a conclusion that the microbeads did cause effects on the early development of the frog. And it was seen very preliminary, whereas we still don't know the problem behind it, but the solvent present in the microbeads, which is thimerosal, was not tested for this experiment, to run this experiment. And future research can be done to test microbeads and the solvent present in the microbeads to test if it's affected, or accounted for. And I would like to give special thanks to biology, JSC Biology Department for supporting us and helping us. And if there are any questions, I'm glad here to answer.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes.
So in your presentation, you talked about LC50 and EC50 values. So what are they?
So LC50 and EC50 are the concentration which kills 50% of the test. It kills 50% of our tadpole. I'm not sure if it's correct.
So if it is high, that means it's good, and if it is low, that means it's. How should we read that?
I think if it's high, then it's obviously like a danger, and if it's low,
Okay.
then it's okay.
All right.
This was fresh water, right? Would it have a difference if it was tested? The microbeads were tested, or is that just a whole different?
PDAX, do you mean about the PDAX?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was fresh water.
Yeah. Would it be a whole nother experiment to check the microbeads and how they affect the saltwater saltwater fish?
Sorry, I didn't get that answer to the questions.
She's asking, we tested this in freshwater frogs.
With the frogs and tadpoles.
So would it be different if you tested in a marine species in saltwater?
Yeah, I'm not pretty sure about it. We run the experiment just on the frog.
Mhm.
So it might be similar, since it's also aquatic life, so it might be similar for the other aquatic organisms. But I'm not pretty sure about if it's effect for all aquatic life.
Okay.
And just following up on his question there, EC50 was measuring what? EC50. What did you show pictures of?
I don't know, sorry.
Your pictures of your tadpoles were of the
You mean the dating
the malformations they caused? The effective concentration was for the malformations that you scored?
Very interesting.
Other questions for our speaker? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.